Good morning. It's Thursday morning. Today we're going to read Psalm 4. To the choir master with stringed instruments, a psalm of David. Answer me when I call, O God of my righteousness. You have given me relief when I was in distress. Be gracious to me and hear my prayer. O men, how long shall my honor be turned into shame? How long will you love vain words and seek after lies? But know that the Lord has set apart the godly for himself. The Lord hears when I call him. Be angry and do not sin. Ponder in your own hearts on your beds and be silent. Offer right sacrifices. Put your trust in the Lord. There are many who say, "Who will show us some good?" Lift up the light of your face upon us, O Lord. You have put more joy in my heart than they have when their grain and wine abound. In peace I will both lie down and sleep, for you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. So the interesting thing about this psalm, one of the interesting things, is the title, the heading, which we normally don't read in worship, but it said, "To the choir master with stringed instruments, a psalm of David." It tells us who wrote it, tells us it was a psalm, and tells the choir master, play it with stringed instruments. Now, we have no idea what that meant. I mean, stringed instruments we know, but we don't know if that meant if that implied a certain style, if that implied that this was a certain tune called with stringed instruments. We don't know those things. We just know what's in front of us. But we do know there that the psalm, so this book of Psalms is a kind of hymn book. And it's there are some instructions here, and on most psalms, I think, instructions for the musical leaders to know what tune to play or what, combination of instruments. It'd be something like if our hymn book said, up the top in parentheses, with guitars or something like that. But again, we don't know much about the ancient musical styles or what they did or how they sang them. Now, the content of the psalm is kind of a dialogue, and it says, well, I'm doing just fine. God's answered me when I was in distress. But, how long do I have to wait? How long will my honor be turned into shame? Just when is God going to act to set it all right and vindicate me? And then another voice, or it seems to be another voice, says, "Be angry and don't sin. Ponder this in your sleep on your beds and offer good sacrifices and put your trust in the Lord." And many will say, "Who will show us some good?" But he will sleep in peace because God alone will make him dwell in safety. So it's a kind of a reassuring psalm. At the same time, it's one of those demands. Hey, God, get busy. What are we doing here? Why do the wicked prosper? And why do the good have to wait so long for your blessing that you promised that you would send to the good? So this is not like something new we're demanding. We're demanding what we were told you were going to provide. The Psalms are very honest. They're not arranged in any particular order. They're not arranged in a way that kind of builds on each other. They're just piled in there, but they're very honest. And so there's a great deal of, hey, God, what's going on here in the Psalms? The medieval Western monks would sing them, and they had a schedule worked out. They would, gather for worship 5 or 6 times a day, every 2 hours, starting about 3 in the morning. And they would sing several psalms at each worship time, and they went through the entire book of Psalms from memory in a month. And you simply learn them by hearing, these monks singing these psalms in Latin. And so they would do 2 or 3 psalms every, at least 5 a day, right? Yeah, so they would do five a day. So they would do a psalm or two every at every one of their prayer services. Some of the very long psalms probably took them a couple of days to get through, but anyway, they had it worked out, and they used these in worship. There are still denominations today that only sing the psalms, and that's not necessarily a rule, though it is. Those people happen to like doing that, so good for them. But we have other hymns, but we could do to pay attention to the psalms and use them and learn them and sing them um, in various ways. And so I hope that your prayer life will be enriched by the vocabulary of the Psalms. The next time that you're honked at God, now you've got Psalm 4 and you can go to it and say, hey, God, answer me, and that's okay. That's a good thing to say that. It's not somehow bad that you tell God how it is, because he can handle it and he wants to handle it. So tell him how you feel. And also, today, have a great day. See you tomorrow.